Hello. I think I'm going to wait until some people come in. Hello, hello. Let me know if you're there. And if you can hear me too. Okay, I see two people, but I don't see you. But I'm glad that you're here. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Therapy Thursdays with the faith community, and we have taken upon us the charge of imparting inspiration, tips, ways for you to deal with the situation we're in with the COVID-19. And so today, I know you probably were thinking this would be Pam, but today it will be me, and I am Melanie Ivey. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you some things to think about for Therapy Thursday. If you would, please share this live feed with your friends and family that you think could benefit from some of the tips that we've been providing as the faith community. So today, my task is to share some things with you from a therapy perspective. And I am not a licensed therapist. However, I am an emotional intelligence coach. So I'm going to share some tips with you to help you deal with some of the emotions that you will feel during this time. Anytime there's a time of uncertainty, then you deal with different emotions. So I want to give you 3 things that you should do to process these emotions. I'm sure all of us have gone from being angry to being confused, all the gamut of emotions. However, I do want to give you some insight into how you can process those things. So if you're ready, here we go. Number 1, and I wrote notes so I can keep on track. Acknowledge, the first thing you should do to process these feelings during COVID-19 is to acknowledge your feelings. Yes, that means don't bury them, don't eat them away, don't do any of those things, but you actually should acknowledge your feelings. So that means you have to go internally and figure out, okay, well, what am I feeling? Am I sad? Am I mad? Am I just confused? And what caused me to feel this way? This allows you to actually tap into your humanity. A lot of times our lives put us in positions where we're sort of like operating through a machine-like kind of context. You know, we're always on the go, but we're not in a position to really process our feelings. So this is an absolutely amazing time for you to actually not only acknowledge your feelings, but even tap into your humanity, should I say. It's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings. Actually, the fact that you would acknowledge your feelings gives you the power to do something about your feelings. So number 1, I would say, is to acknowledge your feelings. The second thing I would encourage you to do after you acknowledge your feelings is to feel the emotion. So the first step is to acknowledge what type of feeling you're having. Sad, mad, angry, happy, excited, anxiety. What is it? And then give yourself permission to actually feel that feeling. It's nothing wrong with feeling that feeling. Again, this is a deeper opportunity for you to tap into your humanity. Now, I don't mean stay in the feeling. You need to acknowledge it and feel it, but then that also positions you to be able to positively process the feeling. So again, number 1 is acknowledging the feeling. Number 2 is to feel the feeling. And then don't allow that feeling to override you. So the reason I say this is a lot of times in life, if you look back, I'm sure you can look back at something in your life where life just got really busy, right? You had feelings that were not the most pleasant feelings, but you weren't in a position to actually process those feelings. And one thing I have learned in my own experience, and it is just a law, a principle in the world, feelings buried alive do not die. I'll say it again. Feelings buried alive do not die. They reside within if you do not deal with them. And in this time of COVID-19, where everything is so uncertain, things change literally hour by hour, if not minute by minute, it can be overwhelming. And if you don't allow yourself to process those feelings and feel those feelings, you won't be in a position to actually do something about those feelings and resolve them in a positive and a healthy way. So when you don't allow yourself to do that, then your feelings become a part of your cellular makeup. They become a part, they impact your immune system and everything that makes us us. It's really true that our mind, body, and soul are connected. That means your mental state, your emotional state, and your physical state truly are in tandem. So in order for you to actually take the reins back, you have to acknowledge and feel your feelings, okay? After you acknowledge and feel your feelings, the next thing I would say is to assess your feelings. When I say assess, I mean what triggered the feeling. Was it something you watched on TV? Was it a conversation you had? Was it something you heard? Who, what, when, and where? And what emotion or what sensibility triggered that feeling? Was it something you heard, you said, you felt? What was it? Because if you are, you have the ammunition of having these three pieces of the puzzle, you're in a position to truly take control of that feeling and replace it with something that is more in line with a positive feeling or a logical feeling that you can control. So again, the three things you can do to help process your feelings are to acknowledge your feelings. Number one, tap into your humanity. All of us have these feelings, and there's nothing wrong with having these feelings. It's part of being human. And you're not a superwoman and you're not a superman. Excuse me. So please acknowledge your feelings. Number two, feel the feelings. Feel them, but don't dwell in them. Feel them long enough to do step number three, which is assess the root of them. But after that, it's up to you to take control back of your feelings and position yourself to do something about them. Pam last week shared several resources that you can use and tap into to start that process of acknowledging your feelings. So now that we have gone through 3 steps you can take on a daily basis, and I don't expect this to be something that you automatically are comfortable with and it's just part of your second nature. You have to practice this and it will become part of your second nature. So I want to encourage you to do so. Now that we've gone over 3 things you can do to start processing your emotions, I want to talk about 3 self-care tips in line with further processing those feelings in a healthy way. So are you ready? Okay. Number 1 self-care tip I have is to practice the power of sacred silence. I know you're like, Melanie, that's the tip. Yes. Sacred silence is very powerful, and I'm going to give you some reasons why. It gives your body and mind a break. You actually get to just sit still and let it relax and just be in that moment. A lot of times, that's really what we really need, more so than not, just to sort of sit silent. Another thing that is beneficial for you to sit silent is that it also boosts your clarity and it strengthens you being present. So I'm really big on being present, which means you have to actually take an active role in handling all the things that you endure as a human being. So if you practice learning how to be silent, and it doesn't have to be long, it could be 2 minutes. You could set your alarm on your phone or something, and you could just sit still for a moment. Just be. Or you could just listen to some really nice calming music for 2 minutes. And just breathe deeply and breathe deeply in. Maybe hold it for 2 or 3 seconds and breathe deeply out. And I mean like a deep breath. Like, your stomach actually goes out. You hold it and then you breathe through your mouth. It is the most relaxing thing you can do at any time of the day. You could be sitting in traffic, and none of us are in traffic at this point, but if you were in traffic, for example, you could sit there and just breathe in, or if you feel yourself feeling some feelings that are out of place, that's a good place for you to start breathing in and breathing out. You don't have to, you can control being in a reactive mode or being in a proactive mode. And so the goal is to be more in a proactive mode. So that's the first tip. And some ways that you can actually practice silence, I want to give you a few. Let's say I'm reading in silence. A lot of people say they don't have time to read. This is an opportunity for you to just sort of read for leisure or for learning something different in silence. You can write a poem. I'm very creative, so I love writing stuff and just expressing yourself. Or you can draw. Callie does amazing opportunities for you to do meditation and understand how to do that. So I would encourage you to go back and look at some of her videos about that in the faith community. You can pray. Prayer is always in order. So if that's your way of sort of releasing some of that tension, feel free to improve your prayer, do more prayer, or just sit silent and just acknowledge how awesome God is. A lot of times when we take the tension off of what's happening and put it on who's in control, that actually frees us up and takes some of that tension away as well. Or you could take a memory lane down, like looking at old pictures. That's something that I found recently that has been extremely helpful for me, to just sort of go back and look at old photo albums and really reminisce about some things and some stuff I had forgotten. Really triggered some opportunities for like me and my parents to like laugh about some things and talk about some stuff. And I learned some new stories about myself, for example, that I did not know. But it was really cool to hear about those things. So, and think about some things that trigger happiness for you. You know, pictures do that for me. Whatever it is for you that brings you back to a place of joy, I think you should focus on that. Excuse me. I don't have corona, okay? All right. So next is free yourself of dis-ease. And when I say dis-ease, I mean D-I-S-ease, E-A-S-E. I'm going to give you some tips now. So dis-ease in your mind, body, and spirit is an unnatural, agitated, out of balance state of being. Every thought and emotion you experience causes a chemical response in your bloodstream, your organs, and your immune system, as I mentioned before. And negative mental and emotional states contribute to the actual physical dis-ease that I've been sharing with you earlier. But there is hope. You have the ability to heal yourself from dis-ease if you're willing to change how and what you believe in and how you act upon it and what you think about. So that still hits those three areas: your mind, your body, your soul. So your mental, your emotional, and your physical state. You have control over what you dwell on. You have control over what you decide to take occupation over most of your brain and most of your thought patterns. You have control. I want to encourage you to take that control back and replace those things with things that realign you with happiness, joy, and places of peace for you, even in this time of uncertainty. And I also have a couple more tips in this area to help you with getting rid of dis-ease. What about taking a walk? We're all confined to our homes. You can go outside and take a walk. Hopefully you're in a safe place where you can do that. You can stretch. A lot of people are missing this gym, but you can actually stretch and keep your body limber, should I say, and that helps you sort of relax yourself as well. You should laugh more as well. Laughing is always medicine for the soul. So if that's watching your favorite show, getting on Netflix, getting on the phone with some people that make you laugh or keep you in stitches, some kind of way to reignite or reconnect yourself with laughing more also helps with freeing yourself from dis-ease. Reconnecting with distant friends or reconnecting again with things that bring you joy. So I only have one more tip. So far we've talked about practicing sacred silence, freeing yourself of dis-ease in your mind, body, and soul. And the last one I want to talk about is developing an attitude of gratitude. We hear this so often, but in this time specifically, it's extremely important that you practice offerings of gratitude. Find ways to be grateful. The fact that we're sitting here together is a blessing. You woke up in your right mind is a blessing. The fact that you can use all your limbs is a blessing. So it's the little things sometimes that life sort of keeps us from seeing, but this allows us to reconnect with just the little things. And so I wanted to share some things about why also I think practicing an attitude of gratitude is going to be amazing. Gratitude requires you to acknowledge your blessings and treat others and their actions as gifts. I did a video on my page a few days ago about maybe this time is for a lot of people to reset, to reconnect, to rest. And so if you look at this in a gratitude way, you will be surprised at all the little nuggets of gifts you'll see in your life. Another reason gratitude is good is an opportunity for you to express and demonstrate gratitude and give thanks. It actually widens your receiving conduit. So if you're in a position of being grateful for where you are at this moment, then you're in a position to actually receive gratitude from others. Some actions you can also do to practice being grateful is to create a gratitude journal. I think this is exciting because you can do this with anything. I didn't bring my props with me, but I have written down, you can do this with yourself. If you're single, you can put together like, let's see, you can get some paper, some index cards, construction paper, whatever you have that's blank. You can create these little cards or strips of paper, for all that matter, and write out some things that you're grateful for that day. You can do it at the top of the day, you can do it at the bottom of the day, right before you go to bed, or you can do it throughout the day. I know I have lots of notes on my phone, and a lot of times if I have something happen, you can also use your phone to like record whatever you're grateful for, if that works for you, or you can write a note on the phone, some kind of way to keep you present in the fact that you should be grateful. Another thing, I think this would also be great if you have a family. So if you have kids, this would be an awesome project to get them involved with sharing what they're grateful for. And so if they see you leading, then they'll know how to do it. And this could be something y'all could do nightly or every day, just to another opportunity for you to reconnect with your family. So another thing you can do to show gratitude is personal journaling. I'm a real big proponent on journaling. I think it's important for you to be in tune with what you're feeling for that day. What were the highlights for that day? What things were challenging for you? And how did you go about handling those things that were challenging for you? If you didn't do anything, that's fine. But if you keep up with a journal, you can also see the progress you make every day. So if yesterday was a bad day, but today you decided, hey, I'm going to take the reins of my day and I'm going to do stuff to make sure I stay positive, that's something that over time you can see how far you've come and how far you've grown. So again, these are just a few tips that I want to share with you about how you can sort of cope during this time and reconnect with yourself and appreciate all the blessings that are actually here. Even though the outside is confusing, you really can control what you decide to focus on. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I am Melanie. I look forward to you guys continuing to tune in to the faith community. Again, we are doing things every day to impart inspiration into your life, to impart peace and some fun things that you can do to cope in a positive and healthy way during this time frame. So take care, and we look forward to connecting with you in the very near future. So make sure you share this message, and you make sure that you sign up to get all the notifications when we become live every day. So we look forward to connecting with you, and you are welcome to join us for any of our videos that come Monday through Friday. We have something every day at 6:30, and you are welcome, welcome, welcome. I feel like I'm at, doing the welcome at the church. To come to our sessions on Saturdays at 4. So please join us. We look forward to connecting with you soon. You guys have a fantastic evening.